Good morning, students. We are reading the topic atmosphere and environment. And the subtopic in this topic is the air. And today we are going to read the second lecture, lecture number 2 of this topic, air. So concentrate yourself. We are going to start now. Process involving gases in air. So combustion, respiration, photosynthesis and rusting are some of the most important processes which involve air. And first we are going to read the combustion. Combustion or burning is the combination of a substance with oxygen. Air supports combustion because it contains oxygen. And here is the example, the combustion of the methane. So here is the methane gas. When it reacts with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide and water. Oxygen is always used up in the combustion, and when common fuels, for example, wood, coal, petroleum products, burn, carbon dioxide and water are produced. In unlimited supply of the oxygen, carbon monoxide is produced instead of the carbon dioxide. So this is very important point to be remembered, that in a plentiful supply of the oxygen, when combustion takes place, carbon dioxide is formed. But when limited supply of the oxygen is there in combustion, so carbon monoxide gas is produced. So here are the three things which are necessary for the combustion, that is oxygen, fuel and heat. This shows the three things needed for the combustion or burning. Removing only one of them will put out the fire. You remove one thing, the fire will be put off. The next thing that we are going to read about the oxygen is the role of the air in supporting life. Air supports life because plants require carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, and plants and animals require oxygen for photosynthesis. So air is important for the life. And here is a figure that you can see and that make your concepts more clear. So understand it, because the question in paper number 1 and paper number 2 comes about this figure. So here is the photosynthesis of the plants. So for photosynthesis, the plants require carbon dioxide and release oxygen gas that is used in combustion of the wood, coal, carbonaceous fuels. Oxygen is also used in the respiration of the plants and animals. And in return, when plants and animals respire, they exhale carbon dioxide. And when oxygen is used in the combustion processes, the carbon dioxide gas is released, that is used again by plants. So this is the balance of the carbon dioxide and oxygen in air. Photosynthesis is the process by which plants produce carbohydrates. In photosynthesis, carbon dioxide combines with water in the presence of the sunlight and the catalyst chlorophyll to form carbohydrates and oxygen. And here is the equation. So carbon dioxide and water in the presence of the sunlight combines together to form carbohydrates and produce oxygen. The next is the respiration. Respiration is the process by which living organisms use oxygen to produce energy. Carbon dioxide is formed. Respiration is in fact the reverse of the photosynthesis, because in this process glucose react with oxygen to form carbon dioxide, water and energy. Photosynthesis and respiration together help to keep the percentage of the oxygen and carbon dioxide in the air balanced. So photosynthesis and respiration are very important for keeping the balance of the two gases in the environment. We inhale, breathe in, and exhale, breathe out air to keep alive. We inhale between 15,000 and 20,000 liters of the air each day. The differences between the inhaled air and the exhaled air are shown in the table below. So inhaled oxygen 21%, exhaled oxygen 16%. Inhaled carbon dioxide 0.03% and exhaled 4% carbon dioxide. Inhaled water vapors 0%, exhaled 1%. Inhaled nitrogen is 78% and exhaled is the same. Inhaled noble gases 1% and exhaled same percentage. The reason for the differences is that inhaled air take part in the biochemical reactions called respiration. So this again question come in the paper. So why the percentages changes? So here are the reasons. Here is the answer. So concentrate yourself. The reason for the differences is that inhaled air takes part in the biochemical reactions called respiration. Inhaled air dissolves in the blood supplied to the lungs. In the bloodstream, some of the oxygen is dissolved. Air oxidizes food materials. The oxidation products are carbon dioxide and water. They are carried by the bloodstream to the lungs. During the oxidation of the food, energy is released. Carbohydrates, sugars and starches and fats are the main energy providing food. The combustion of the foods in living tissues is respiration. And here is the equation of the reaction. The energy released is used as heat energy to keep us warm and as kinetic energy, energy of the motion, to allow us to be active. So that's why the percentages changes. Some of the gases are used and some are produced. The next is the rusting of the iron. Iron rust when it comes into contact with water and oxygen. Rust forms on the surface of the iron steel. Unfortunately, it is soft, crumbly substance. It soon flakes off, then more iron rust. So this is the reason why more and more rust formed. In the anodic region, each iron atom loses 2 electrons to form a Fe2 plus ion. So here is the reaction at the anode. The electrons that are released flow through the iron to the cathode region. The electrons react with the oxygen and water to form hydroxide ion. And here is the reaction. So 2 electrons which are produced at the anode transfer to the cathode and hydroxide ions are produced. The Fe2 plus ions migrate through the moisture to cathodic region to react with the oxygen to form rust. So here you can see the rust is formed. Rust is hydrated iron oxide. So this is the rust. And here is a picture that you can see rust on the metal. So this is very important. This is another very important question come in the paper number 1 and paper number 2 of the chemistry subject. So control experiment. So lower temperature slows down the rusting and alkali slows down the rusting. So it means these are the 2 factors which slows down the rusting process. And here are the 2 reasons. Rusting processes accelerates. The rate of the rusting increased with presence of the salt, and acids speeds up rusting. So these are 2 things which speeds up the rusting, and these are 2 things which slows down the rusting. And here is a figure. Rusting will take place in tube C because air and water are necessary for rusting. So these are the 2 conditions which are necessary for the rusting. If you remove any one of the thing, rusting process will be stopped. So air and water are necessary for rusting. In this process, you can see dry air is there. So it means air is there, but because of the cap, moisture cannot enter. So here is the cotton wool, calcium chloride. So air, no water, so that's why no rust. And here you can see no air because it is airtight. But water is there, but even then no rust. So it means the point to be noted is air and water are two things which are necessary for rusting process. So here is no cap, so water is there and oxygen is freely coming and going out of the container, so air water rust. Note, salt speeds up the rusting of the iron. Like most chemical reactions, rusting speeds up if the reactants are warmed. Acids speeds up the rusting. So here are the three conditions which can speed up the rusting process. Number one, salt. Number two, temperature. And number three, acids. The next thing that we are going to read is the rust prevention. Iron rust when it is in contact with water and air. To stop rusting, water and air must be prevented from coming into contact with the surface of the iron or tin. And here we are going to read the methods of rust prevention. The first method is coat iron surface with oil and grease. This method is used in moving parts of the machinery, for example, bicycle chain. Layer of the oil grease prevents air and water from reaching the iron. The protective film must be renewed time to time. The second method for rust prevention is coat iron surface with a less reactive metal, for example, tin plating. This method is used in making food cans. Coating of the metal prevents air and water from reaching the surface of the iron. Zinc cannot be used. So, although the zinc is a less reactive metal, but even then this cannot be used in the food cans because zinc and its compounds are poisonous. So this is very important point which frequently come in paper number 1. The next method of rust prevention is coat iron surface with a more reactive metal. For example, galvanizing zinc plating. Galvanized steel girders are used in the construction of the building and bridges. Even if the layer of the zinc is scratched, the iron underneath does not rust. The reason is zinc is above carbon in the reactivity series as long as some zinc remains. So as long as some zinc remains, zinc will corrode in preference to iron. We say that the iron is galvanized. The next method of the rust prevention is a coat of the metal chromium plating. This method is used in making car bumpers, cycle handles, bars. Gives a decorative finish as well as protection. So things seems very good after chromium plating. The next method for rust prevention is coat iron or steel with plastic. Plastic will prevent air and water from reaching the iron. The next method of rust prevention is coat iron surface with paint. This method is used for large objects, for example, ships and bridges. If the paint is scratched, the iron beneath it starts to rust. Corrosion can spread under parts of the paintwork which are still sound because the rust has been entered. The next method for the rust prevention is stainless steel. This method is used in making cutlery, car accessories, for example, radiator grills. Steel containing chromium 10% to 25% or nickel 10% to 20% do not rust. The next method for the rust prevention is sacrificial protection. This method is used in ships. Bars of the zinc are attached to the hull of the ship. Being above iron in the reactivity series, zinc is corroded. As long as the zinc bars remains, even the smallest part of the zinc is left, they protect the ship from rusting. When they have corroded, they must be replaced. This method is used in underground pipes as well. Bags of the magnesium scrap are attached to the underground pipes. Magnesium corrodes in preference to the pipes. From time to time, the magnesium must be replaced. And here are some pictures that you can see for the rust prevention methods. Painting keeps the water and air away, so painting method is being used. Here is another method, that is oil and grease lubricates and protects machinery from rusting, because oil and grease prevents air and moisture from reaching the metal. Here is another method, a metal object being galvanized. Here is another method that you can see, zinc is sacrificed to protect the steel. So this was the lecture, students. I hope so this will be much more interesting and easy for you to understand. So read this lecture again, understand it, learn it, and make your notes. Thank you so much.